right. Peace and blessings to the family. Welcome back to Self Meet Self Podcast, Episode 7, Special Edition. It's my fault we here early. So whenever you catch it, you caught it. All right. It's your brother now going a lot, and I'm here with one of the greatest minds of our time. Okay, to get some straightening going on. After the last episode, we had to come back and do something else. Do it again. So one part, a two-part series, mission now. And we will be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Yo, man, this sister over here, man, I'm trying to see what's good, man.
To my homie over there with the hair, man.
Yeah, man, she definitely look like she charged some crystals, man.
Come on, yo, she definitely could align your chakra for real.
Yeah, that juju right, man. Let me see what's good. See if she carry herself like a goddess. Dido sit in this king chair. I need me a queen here. My jeans ain't that baggy. I ain't wearing no tight gear. Harlem, New York. I talk where Malcolm and Garvey walk. I only kill that mattress, draw your outline and body chalk. I ain't trying to be nasty, but I tell if you ask me. Plus these sisters need to know my lap ain't no fag seat. No haste for procreation. I ain't wasting your company. Love to be the guard of your prayers and catch a felony. Ready to protect you from the sheriffs and his deputies. Now check me. I ain't Mayweather, but I hit that bag to make it last. I walk the path, need some healing from the whiplash. Usain Bolt, I season tracks, come be my Mrs. Dash. I'm Dido Green, tell my daughter, baby, stack your cash. What's the 411? Let me know, son. What's the 411? What's the 411, queen?
What's the 411, king?
I'm about to do my thing.
Yeah, you about to do your thing.
What's the 411, queen?
What's the 411, king?
I'm about to do my thing.
Yeah, you about to do your thing.
What's the 411, queen?
What's the 411, king?
I'm about to do my thing.
Yeah, you about to do your thing.
What's the 411, queen?
What's the 411, king?
Yeah, I did my thing.
Yeah, I know you did your thing. Yeah, bro, what makes you different from the next brother? Black power speech, would you really face this beast? I hope the heart inside your chest intact. Have you rapping, tapping out if I throw this back? I ain't got no time for Uncle Tom's, that's a Becky's man. On the block the next day, screaming free the land. Black and sight, but in your heart, there's a whiter man. I'm not having that, no, I'm not having that. I'm the goddess, you the god, that's how it's got to be. I'm Jasira, ain't no coons running up in me. I seen it happen to my sister and her friend Shanice. Righteous step, respect, protect, then we'll be free. So if you with it and earn your 7 digits, then I trust you'll catch me if I fall. If you with it, let's decipher chemist walls. Yeah, so what's the 411, huh?
Yo, Che Black, I seen Shorty from way back. I think she right, brother.
Dude, what's up, man? She giving you that flavor? What's good with that?
All that flavor, all 32 Baskin Robbins ain't got nothing on her. That juju is correct.
Good word, I heard that, man.
Yo, man, Pastor Greeny the first lady. I think this is it.
Hey, man, go holler, man. Go in with it, man.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna see what's up. Trying to go season vegan, baby.
All this love, all you can have.
Dido Green knows you're special.
All my life I fight for you.
I need your strength to pull me through.
You need me and I need you.
Dido Green's very special.
Singing to you, the spirit divine.
The sound of your voice helps me refine.
A black man's love is meant for me.
Jasira, you're something kinda special.
Black love is right worth the life that I'm living. You're very special.
Yeah, What's the 411, queen?
What's the 411, king?
I'm about to do my
Yeah,
thing.
you about to do your thing.
I said, what's the 411, queen?
What's the 411,
Yeah,
king?
you know I did my thing.
Yeah, I know you did your thing.
All right, it becomes my honor and privilege at this time to introduce some of the others. The reason for the season, the reason why we all here, and the reason why we listen to these archives, the one, the only, the magnificent mastermind, Miss Chanel Johnson in the building. How you doing? How you feeling? How you be, ma'am?
I am good today. It's a nice, relaxed day. Kind of gloomy outside, but always sunshine inside.
Hey, it's a beautiful day in this neighborhood. Does this music meet with your approval today? I gotta ask this one off the side note real quick before we get into
Yes,
anything.
it
You
does.
understand what I'm saying? I don't want to be up here promoting. No, you feel like, man, get this garbage out. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Because of the topic, I wanted to add something that was kind of fitting to it. We are in this together, regardless of whatever external and internal conflicts we had. Show a righteous display of what it's supposed to look like before we get into the treacherous waters of whatsoever this is. Okay, you can tell the people why we're here today.
Well, we are here today to answer questions that men have for Black women.
Mm, okay, okay, all right. So you have some questions. I have some questions, and I got some questions from some therapists and some counselors that they hear in their sessions when they're working with couples. In interpersonal communication issues. So if you had some questions, I know we gonna get into some of them, but I'm uh I'm gonna see what they asked real quick. One of the ones from the session is, why do you feel like submitting to a man is a negative thing?
I don't, okay, let me say this. Submitting to a man is not a negative thing. Submitting to an ideology that does not align with mine, who I am, who I want to be, or want to be in the future, is where the issue comes in. When you're looking for submission, you're looking for someone to who is in line with what you want as well. And you're going to get resistance if where you want to go is not where she wants to go. If she does not trust your leadership, if she does not trust your demonstration of manhood. And submission is not about dominance, and it's not about power or control. And I think that's where the lines get skewed, where a woman doesn't want to feel any of those things. Protection is totally different. Guided is totally different. Even led is different than dominance, control, or force of will. So I don't believe it's so much that women have a problem of submission, but it's, where are you leading me to? Where are we going? Is your life in order to be able to tell me how to flow with it or get on your ship and sell where you're selling? Are your affairs in order? Are your finances in order? Are your decisions concrete enough for me to be able to trust what you're saying and how you're going to think for us in an instance? But it also is a matter of, submission is not something that is concrete and constant. When you're in a relationship, there's going to be ebbs and flows. There's going to be one gives more, one gives less. We both give the same, we both give the least. It's not a matter of it's always going to be what you say because you're a man. That's not the way that that works, because women make many decisions in the home with and without you, and sometimes better than you. And at times you're going to make better judgments than she's going to make. So if you going into something with someone thinking that because I'm a man, I make final decisions, I make all decisions, I make sole decisions, and you're just supposed to follow that because I am a man and because I said so and because I'm male, that just trumps everything. But your decisions, the way that you move, the way that you handle things, none of those things align with leadership, then you're going to be hard pressed to find somebody that's going to be willing to actually submit to that. And it doesn't deserve to be submitted to be totally honest. And if you're looking, and it doesn't deserve to be, because why would I follow you to the depths of hell? Why would I follow you to financial discord? Why would I follow you through chaos or anything like that that you're bringing in? That's not security. That's not provision. That's not leadership. So again, how you define it and how she defines it may be two different things. But if you find someone that's in accord with what you want. And if you find that you're having resistance with everyone with what you want, you may want to reevaluate what you're asking for.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So I think I think you had better questions from the younger people than you did from uh, the
I
supposed to be grown males.
I will say that the younger gentleman definitely had questions with more substance,
Mhm.
questions that lead to bridging gaps in communication, lead towards actually fixing some of the communication gaps that we have, and are more in tune with wanting to know about women, where the older men wanted to know more about what she could do for him, not how he could show up for her. And a lot of them were very, very sexual. We got a lot of sex questions, which I found very interesting.
Mhm. Oh man. If I could read a question that was asked for black men, is that okay?
Absolutely.
All right. The question is, why is it so hard to commit? A question for black men. So if you want to answer for black women and then I can answer for black men.
Why is it so hard for a woman to commit to a man?
Yeah.
I don't think that it's hard for a woman to commit to a man. I mean, if a woman doesn't commit to a man, she doesn't trust you. She doesn't trust you. She doesn't like the way that you move, and she's just being performative at this point. She's there for a specific reason. She's there for a good time, not a long time. Um, and again, but if you're talking about submission, you're working into relationship. A woman's not going to submit to unsurety. She's not going to submit to not being placed properly to earn that submission. Because if she's submitting, then you are her man. So if you're with someone else, she's not going to commit. If you're not focused on her, or if you're not in tune with her, she's not going to submit to you because she doesn't feel safe. She's going to feel safe if she feels like you're giving her proper security and provision, not just financially, but also spiritually and emotionally as well.
You know what would be funny if I told you everything that you said is true on the other side? It's
Absolutely.
damn near identical twins. So commitment requires submission. If commitment requires adaptability, commitment requires patience, but not foolery. Requires patience, but not foolery. Not asking you to be blind to what you see, or be blind to what you hear, or be blind to what you feel. So submission requires a space of subordination in regards to, as you spoke about, who is the best knower, right? So if before you get into the space where we're two becoming one on whatever level it is, understanding how you deal with conflict, how you deal with pressure, how you deal with stress becomes important because it's all good in the honeymoon aspect of it until the situation comes awry. That's a pain point for one of you or both of you. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with conflict, right? So, subordinating in that regard looks like I trust your, I trust your, right? I trust your. And I'm taking that into my own meditation. I'm taking that into place. So if I hadn't completely healed in that aspect in regard, in this might look like a trauma response or a trigger from a past relationship, I'm going to express that. I'm I'm going to control my being. I'm going to utilize some emotional intelligence and communicate that and trust that with this revelation of vulnerability, you take it as it is, right? And we can work through that. So that's conflict resolution, and that lends into further trust, right? So again, getting past these little points sometimes, these become the greatest points of contention for people to separate. So in the issue of commitment, fear is present based off of past experiences, right? So if something resembles this, then the default programming is to back away, is to shut down, is to do all of these things. If that's what your situation was, right? Previously. But if not, if my default programming is when conflict arises for us to talk and yours is to shut down, we're gonna have to figure out something. You understand what I'm saying? It's because you are
Mhm.
guarding yourself in a way, and I have to understand that, and I'm expressing myself in a kind of way. And then if you are want to be in this, then you have to understand, like, okay, he talks when things get uncomfortable, right? So I have to figure out how to still receive him and not stonewall him. Because if he continues to reach and reach, and it seems as if it's not being received, then he's going to retreat. And now you're going to be like, what's happening? What's going on here? Usually you would say something, blah, 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 blah. So all of those things have to come into being in regards to what that is when you look at what commitment is. Like, so back to what I was saying originally, everything that you share in regards to your apprehensions or things that you're looking for or expectations are similar, if not identical, in regards to the same thing. You know, I don't know if we do as black men a great enough job of vocalizing those things because in the podcast generation, everybody's playing two can play that game, and if this is supposed to be a life thing and it's not supposed to be a game thing, right? So if you remember that film with Vivica Fox and Morris Chestnut, they had friends in the background that were explaining this game thing. And neither one of them were in a relationship. And these two were striving to be in a relationship with one another. And they were listening to their friends and their own things that they had going on in their own personal lives. And at the end, she was like, first rule, no rules. Right. So she thought that she could navigate based off of this and striving to be the best version of this, but wasn't really her thing. It was her thing dealing with past traumas with relationships, and with his thing, past trauma with relationships and family. So if the maternal figure or the paternal figure in your life is damaging to you, you are half cocked out here walking around seeking to deal with relationships. So your relationship will default back to what you saw or didn't see in your parental life as a young male. So if you saw a committed relationship, you're more apt to look for a committed relationship versus you seeing some of this other abusive, toxic craziness, and you'll be looking for that, or you'll be looking to bring that. So
And
just stop. Yeah.
I will add that when it comes to women, a lot of the times the biggest fear for a woman is to be cheated on. And if a
Mm,
woman feels like you're not giving her your full attention and you're not pouring into that relationship, she's not going to commit where she's going to feel like I'm going to put all this energy and all these things into this relationship only for you to give it to somebody else or for you to
mm,
share that with somebody else. So, if you're not monogamous, be honest about that up front
yeah.
because you won't have to worry about her submitting because she ain't supposed to be there. You go
Right.
find someone that's okay with that and understands the dynamic of that type of relationship and finds the value in that, and then she'll be more apt to submit to you than someone that's a foreign concept and they want no part of it.
I never met a woman who was okay with that ever. Now, what they able to deal with, or whatever they found as a concession, no woman that I've met, talked to, interviewed, discussed with in regards to it, even though they were in those type of relationships and those type of marriages, were all okay with it. None of them. None of them. So if they saw a cost benefit analysis of being in this kind of relationship with the children, with the family, these are all things that they may have took as concession, but not one woman, one black woman, let me say that I've ever come in contact with anywhere on the planet was okay with it. They told me the truth. You understand what I'm saying? They told me the truth. So whatever that case was, and no black dude. You understand what I'm saying? So either way it went, it didn't matter, but it was more visceral on the side of the black man than it was in regards to what it was and how the truth was established, with the black woman. So concession based off of care, concession based off of love, blah 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 blah, whatever the case may be, found a way to be harmonious with it and make it work. So the first woman, the second woman, the third woman, the fourth one, it didn't matter where they was. There was an issue regardless to what it was. So having that understanding in that regard was something that I don't know if it's true for all black women. Every black woman that I talked to, they was like, "Nah, I wasn't with it. I'm still not really with it." However, cost benefit analysis saw the situation, spiritual, religious, whatever the case may be, with them more being devoted to the God consciousness factor and force, more so than the idea of the guy. And if they saw an inkling of that sort of God consciousness in the man, sort of way, or he had some care and compassion for everybody who was involved, there was some kind of way where it was like, all right, okay, but primarily it was a devotion to the God or to the culture versus the man. So,
What other question do you have, or do you want me to start on my questions?
oh yeah, yeah. Let's. Yeah, I have a few more, but I wanted to hear uh, what my adult male counterparts had to ask.
Your
Burning
adult,
desire question.
your adult male counterparts wanted to
Yeah.
know, does size matter, or is it
Oh.
truly mental for a woman? That's a yes and a no.
Hmm.
You gotta have something to start off with. You gotta have something that's gonna go past the entry point. Otherwise, we just have to be realistic about this question. You gotta be coming. You gotta be working with something. Now,
Mhm.
does every person, every woman want a toddler leg? Absolutely not. You
Mhm.
know, no. But it's not a matter of bigger is better. That's not how that works. It really is more mental than physical, because in any relationship, the last thing that goes is the sex. That's when you pretty
Mhm.
much know, all right, this is done. We're not doing that, because you can hate each other, but you will still lay together, because that's
Mhm.
the last thing that's good for you. So it's more of, honestly, for women, how much she likes you. The more she likes you, the more the size is not gonna matter. But as gradually she starts to decrease in her like for you, your size is gonna matter. And if you're not ample size, she's gonna start to hold that against you. She she she's gonna start to verbalize it. She's probably gonna start to treat you differently. And it's not because you're not massive. It's just because she doesn't like you as a person. So now this is no longer enjoyable, because it is mental. And as a man, you should know in interaction with women, you know when she's into you. She's going to participate, she's going to initiate, she's going to engage. All those things are going to happen. Over time, those things are going to start to go for many different reasons. Why that may happen, your size ain't one of it, because she stayed with your size. So obviously, your size was not that. And she was willing to accommodate and make concessions wherever needed to still make the experience enjoyable. But there's something in you is the reason why something in you was more worth staying for than your size. that was not on that wasn't high on a totem pole. So she went for the characteristics, she went for other things that were great about you. But when those things start to diminish, and if you were masking in the beginning, and as you start to unmask, then that starts to rise up on a totem pole, and yet and you ain't, that's not going to work. So it becomes a balancing act. If you come as you are, you're not very well endowed, be genuine and be who you are from the beginning. So that way you can weed and seed very early on. But if you're coming in there with bravado and ego and,
Yeah.
all the
Take
alpha
that bass
character,
out your voice, fam. Like the,
and that's not you, then it can become problematic later. But as far as pleasuring a woman, no, it does not matter. If she's still there, it doesn't matter to her.
I would say like 80% is mental. And if he asked that question, he got an 80% mental defect. He dealing with 80% of insecurity. 80% you bring to the table, you don't deserve to be with no woman because everything in that regard, especially in the realm of pleasure, how she sees herself, how safe she feels, how much trust she has with you, all of those things are precepts before any sort of sexual encounter. So you could be hung like a horse and you don't provide any of that sort of safety and security, and she's not even going to be aroused by you. She's going to be repulsed by you, and if she's repulsed by you, it doesn't matter what you say, what you do, or anything on any guard of that, space. So have an understanding that this approach is genuine and this is a shared connection and all of that. Um, One of the things I think we talked about to a great degree was there are a lot of black males, running around thinking that because they are a black male that they just automatically have access to black women, and that's very uh, treacherous. It's very predatory sort of behavior, and very disregarding in regards to what it is, right? So it was it was a point you brought up when you was like, if she's into you, you'll know it. Most males don't know. They assume. They assume. Like you don't know the difference between where she's smiling, uh, just to not be in that space where she don't want you alarmed or feeling rejected or anything like that versus a genuine sort of space in regards to this interaction. She could just be a woman who's pleasant to everyone. She knows how to work her magic to work a room in that regard. You see what I'm saying? Something that just emanates from her being versus what this is exclusively for you. If she's for you, she can't see anybody else. And both is true for both aspects. If a black man is totally committed to a black woman, he can't see anybody else either. So the deficit comes in regards to a situation of black. So he has a defect that's toxic to him that may resort to some sort of self abuse and in turn abusive relationship. So I would think that that man need to get some counseling in regards to this to find out what this defect was, what was this negative sexual experience, or whatever the case may be, or blowback in a relationship. Because like you said, like you said, once the gloves is off, the gloves are off. You understand what I'm saying? So, in the midst of everything else that was a verbal barrage, this was the thing that stayed with you, not the other character defects or the things that you presented and blah blah blah. You're dealing with that from that perspective. So that's something else uh, in that regard. So, so for the male and the rest of the males who are preoccupied with that thing right there, then there's some other deeper work, deep seated work that needs to go on before you seek to commit yourself in partnership with another black woman?
Oh, there's a part two to the question.
Uh oh.
I know to men it really matters because a man likes to fill a woman's walls. What's the best thing for a woman to do so they can keep their walls and be snatched? Now, I will say, I will
men,
say,
men really ask that. They really ask that question for real.
I have that verbatim.
Oh,
That was
uh,
part two to the size matter.
huh.
I'm trying to be as professional as possible when I say this. But if you're giving a well a tic tac, is it the well or the tic tac? I mean, one, as a man, if if I tell you what a woman could do to keep her elasticity in her vagina, if you're not willing to go to women and tell them how to do that, if you feel that she's slack, that's not a question for you. That's a question for women to women. You know, a woman could do Kegels. There's things she can do. There's exercises. There's yoga poses. There's hygiene things that she can do to keep her vagina healthy. But if you're running into a consistent finding that all women's vaginas are loose, you might want to check out the common denominator um, in that situation, especially taking it back to does size matter? So, you know, another thing I will say, and this is in all seriousness, I'm really not trying to be funny. When a man masturbates, if you're expecting a vagina to give you a masculine grip, good luck. It doesn't exist. You might want to loosen your grip up a little bit. You know, you are causing yourself to need more pressure than can naturally be given. It's the same as the women with the roses. No human being is going to do those things. When you start introducing external things outside of vaginas and penises, then you're creating an environment that cannot be replicated in the human realm. Now you could introduce those things in, that's fine. But if you're sitting there giving yourself the death choke, and then you go to a woman and you feel like she's too loose and you can't do anything with that, that's a you problem. That's not a woman problem. And you know, and it's not because she slept with many penises. Get out of here. That's not medical.
Right,
That's not
right,
science.
right.
Because if a woman can lay with her husband every day and have sex, what makes you think that if it's a different person that matters? People still pay for sex. There are women called prostitutes, escorts, whatever, and they have multiple penises from all over the world, international, entering them. They still keep elasticity, they still make money. That's not how any of that works. And if you're worried about size because you're thinking, you know, bigger is better, most women don't like huge penises. They just don't. They like penises that are comfortable enough for them to do all the positions that they enjoy. They don't, nobody wants to be punched through the mattress. That's not that's not the majority of women. If you know, so if you're looking for the size in context of pleasing a woman, what you want to do with that size is probably she wants no part of that. And that's our fault. We need to stop lying and making you think that you're great when you're out here jackrabbiting like the last porn movie that you just seen. That's not
Right.
pleasure. That's performative. Yes, she may be sounding like she's engaging. We fake a lot. We lie a lot, entirely too much. And what happens is, by the lies that we tell or by the omission that we practice, we make men think that they are better performers than they actually are. And the love for all the other things that we like about him tends to supersede our belief that we deserve to be pleased in the bed. We just think that that's how it is because most men learn from porn. They don't learn from exploring a woman's body or just natural process. They learn from watching Mr. Marcus, you know, slam pinky all over the place. And that's not it's not what we desire. And because you think you're so great at that, we don't even want to take that from you. We let you keep that because that's your ego needs that. But that's not what she tends to desire. But again, that's nothing to do with size. And by the way, man, most of the people that you see on porn, those are enhancements. A lot of that's not nature. Don't feel so bad. It's not that big of a deal. But when it comes down to vaginal elasticity, if it's a constant thing, you may want to do some deep internal work about what that may be. And even, if you're not being satisfied by women, not your woman, but women, that's different than if it's your woman. And there may be something medical going on. That's a conversation that needs to be had. And if you're with somebody where you can't discuss the thing that you both should be enjoying, you got bigger issues than the sex itself. But you should be
Yeah.
able to say, something has changed and this is what's changed, and then work on it together. Don't shame her about it. Don't, talk about it. And it's the same thing because ED's coming your way. So when
Right.
that happens, you're gonna give her the grace that you're gonna want her to give you when your soldier just is stuck to the side of your leg. It's coming. So when that happens, be mindful how you approach her with hers because she's gonna have that same conversation with you later.
Right. She's not your dumping ground, black male. That's not literally and figuratively. You approach her in a greater manner than you would want someone to approach you. What you give this black woman, she multiplies. So if you give her stress and strain and this is something to work off, don't be surprised when you see that back tenfold. If it's heaven, you create it. If it's hell, you create it. You got to live with it. We have to live with that. And there are consequences that come along with that. So if you in a bad headspace, so you're not right within yourself and all of that, don't approach that woman. Don't approach that woman in a energetic space on any level. Go get that worked out. Go get that fixed. Come to her right because you want her to come to you right. So if these two agree on both of these sides, then that's heaven. If not, then it's hell. And it's more hell for you, literally, on every kind of level. And one of those spaces, believe it or not, when you deal with erectile dysfunction, is the hell that's in your mind. The hell that's in your mind, that you harboring in your head, that you harboring in your heart, that you harboring in your gut, where the blood flow is no longer going to your member in the way that it did because you are carrying all of this hell around and you've internalized it to some degree, but more so internalize it in your entire environment. You hell in your home, you hell on your job, you hell around and everybody can see it except you. So you're thinking that it's these external factors largely, but they're a result of these internal factors that's going on. I had to realize the hell that I was. I had to realize all of the hell that I was causing and take accountability and responsibility for the hell internally and strive to make amends. An internal amends, a reconciliation from within and then without. So if I'm not right, I'm not going to be, you know, any kind of way in the vicinity of somebody I care about or love. I'm gonna go get my stuff together and then come back and then say, hey, I was going through XYZ, blah blah blah. I did not want this division onto you out of respect and love for who you are. And that's anybody that's close to me on any level. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people they don't deal with that. A lot of black men they don't deal with that. They've never seen that. You understand? Like they've never seen that. They don't know if it's safe spaces to actually go to even deal with that. They just come in with the rage. They say stuff like, "Oh, we had the best makeup sex." You understand what I'm saying? It's toxicity. A band-aid on a bullet wound.
Mhm.
A band-aid on a blow to the head. You just put a little band-aid on it and think it's okay. You still got to live in that after. There's an aftermath, right? there's aftermath. So it might feel good in the moment, but you don't feel good at all. Just becomes an escape sort of factor. So now y'all not even aroused for each other if it ain't no conflict. That's a real issue, right? That's a real issue in regards to that defect type of situation. So something has to be addressed in that regard where that defect is. You see what I'm saying? So that is not a place to take your problems. That's not a place for escapism. That's a place for manifestation, a space for healing, a space for multiplication in regards to the world that y'all are looking to create together. So yeah, that ain't nothing to be played with. That orgon energy is the same energy that created the universe. So when you engage on that level, you're creating a universe. You're creating a world. So if you want to know why sex changes everything, because everything has changed. Y'all created a world together, regardless. Regardless of what happens. Just like your thoughts become things. The same energy that created those thoughts into existence is the same things that bring these worlds into existence, not just a child, a world. You understand what I'm saying? Your world is changed when that child comes into existence. The same way the world changes where two become one in that consummation space. So whether you just did it for the F of it or whatever the case may be, you got to deal with the world that you created.
And I would say to women, when that experience happens for a man, that's when your intuition needs to kick in, your discernment needs to step in. First thing you need to do is take him to a primary care physician and get a referral to a cardiologist and make sure that his heart is good, first and foremost. Second, men, don't skip leg day. Testosterone's built in the legs. Don't walk around looking like a strong crackhead. Get them legs and get the leg work in. That's gonna help you long term. Do those wind sprints, get those squats in. Like seriously, like exercise. If that's where your testosterone is built, that's what you need to be focusing on in order to be able to keep that. Watch your diet, watch your health. If you have high blood pressure, handle it, because those are the things that's going to take that ability away from you, and it can get to a point to where it's permanent and there's no return. And you can get to a point if you have a heart condition where you can't take enhancement drugs because it will cause you to have a heart attack. So if you want to get ahead of that, taking care of your health is going to be the best thing that you can do in order to not put yourself in that position. And women, be easy on men. That's a very, very disheartening thing. It's a very emasculating thing, and it's something that it's like you not being able to have a child for a man. It's like the equivalent, and it's a situation where that takes away his connection, a piece of his connection with you as well. It's a psychological thing. It's very painful for a man to go through the experience of not being able to have sex or only being able to have it when his body feels like it's okay for that or it wants to, where he doesn't control that anymore. Losing control of that is very detrimental to a man. So tread lightly, educate yourselves on what that is, help him in his environment to fix that problem and get to the bottom of it. It could be depression, it could be so many things, it could be high stress that can cause that. Help him figure that out, and hopefully he will appreciate that on the other end.
Black men allowed to help. Don't be closed off and shut down. You're gonna make everything worse. You understand? Everything worse. There are things in your diet that you can do. There are things that you could add in, like Chanel was talking about exercise, all of those things, because there are a multitude of factors, right? High blood pressure, predisposed, to diabetes and things like that. All of those things play a factor. All of those things play a factor. So, you know, keeping your vitality in order is your business primary objective, goal, and focus. And from that psychological aspect, how you see yourself. You know, maladies come; they don't come to stay. They actually come to go. But if you harbor them and you embrace them, they stay there. They will stay there. And not only are you doing yourself a detriment, you expose your family to that from an epigenetic perspective. So, yeah.
All right. The next question that we have is, would a woman be with a man who has a woman? I don't know why this question was asked. The side piece has been around since the beginning of relationships. Um, a woman, a woman will be with a man that has a woman for many reasons, and it's all to her benefit. She gets to be your outlet and your respite, but she doesn't have any responsibility or duty to you. She's not responsible for your laundry, your meals, your bills, none of your day to day operations that your woman, your actual main woman, is responsible for. But because you have the least amount of contact with her, she's going to feel better to you. But she gets all the benefit of the work that the other woman is actually doing. And that's why I say a woman is not going to submit to a man that has someone else because she doesn't want that type of exchange. Now, the side woman, sorry to tell you, you're not so amazing that she just wants to be with you even though you have a woman. She is benefiting from that situation. It is not because you're just so amazing. I mean, honestly, you get your bills paid, your rent paid, your car note, shopping trips, jewelry, all these different things, and I don't have to take care of you. I just got to sleep with you however many times, once a month, twice a month, even if it's once a week, for all the things that get taken care of for that little bit of interaction with you. It's worth it to some people because again, they're there for a good time, not a long time. They don't want to have to be there for you. Yeah, they're gonna listen to you complain about your wife and your day at work and stuff like that. They do not care. That woman is gonna listen because it is her job. You have now hired someone to be with you. You pretty much got a long stay prostitute. You have an Airbnb. That's what you have at that point because you're paying for that service. She's not just giving that to you because she just thinks you're so amazing. So, but the issue comes in, you get mad at the wife because she feels that separation. She feels that pull away. She feels, and now because you felt so good over here, you come back over here and you're mad because there's accountability here. There's standards, there's expectations that you don't want to meet because this came so easy. It didn't come easy, it just came cheaper because it's cheaper to pay for something that you want so you can get it just the way that you want it than it is to have to earn something based upon what you actually want to input into it. So, yeah, a woman will be with a man with another woman for a benefit, not just because. Now that question is kind of vague. If you're talking about in a polygamous situation, yeah, she'll do it. But I'm telling you, she's doing it for a benefit. A lot It's not our culture. We did not grow up with that mindset and with the form of community that it's actually made for and for the business aspect of it. So when you bring it here, it's just cheating. We're gonna call it what it is. You're just cheating. You just having your cake and eating it too. Because you're not taking care of both. Because the thing is, you want the benefits of that situation, but you don't want the responsibilities. There is accountability and responsibility in those dynamics. You're not keeping two women in the same household. You can barely pay your bills. You're not going to be able to maintain two households. You buy one a car, you got to buy the other. You don't even have the ability to treat yourself correctly. So there's no way you can keep equality between two women. You're not even willing to come forward and say, these are your days. I'm with this person on these days. I'm with you on these days. In the event of an emergency is when you contact me and vice versa. You don't talk about one with the other. You don't let the other talk about each other unless they have a sisterhood and it's agreed upon and they're okay with that. That's another thing. You want to force this without any regulation, and you may have women that want to become sisters in that relationship. And then you have some that just want to keep it separate. I understand that's what's going on over there. Keep that there. Or you may have one that's more inclusive. Yeah, me and her can go grocery shopping on Fridays. But you're not interested in keeping that dynamic. You don't want that. You like the thrill of the sneak. You like the thrill of feeling like I'm getting over. I can do this here and I can be here and I can have this here. And I don't want these two to get along. I don't want them to be okay. because you feel like in that instance, and now you've lost control because you're not looking for inclusion. You're looking for dominance and control. You want to run things, and then you get mad when it falls all apart. Well, why would you leave me because I cheated? Why would you cheat and you got a wife and children over here that you know will be at risk of being lost? Everything that you've built could be lost based upon you not being able to be honest and speak what you want about over here and start there. Don't come here and go there. Start there. But the reason why I believe, and you can help me if I'm wrong, that men don't come up front is because they don't want the responsibility part. They don't want to be held accountable. If you bring the women into the fold and find women that actually are down with that, that are willing to take that as their situation, they're going to have expectations that you're going to have to meet, or else it's easier to just lie to everybody and just do what you want to do and deal with the consequences when you get caught and ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
The man is the side piece. I want y'all to hear me. The man is the side piece. He's the side piece to his wife, and he's the side piece to this woman. You can't do nothing to no black woman and don't think she's gonna find out. We're not good at switching up. We're not good at pretend. You understand? Like when she met you, she saw exactly who you was and made a decision before God what she could deal with and what she can't deal with. Now you playing this little game. She's like, all right, I ain't got to deal with that. Let her deal with that. After the second or third time, she's gonna find out who that woman is. She may never say nothing to you, nothing, until she's through with you. Okay, so if this wife or the side woman decides to go mess with another dude, you gonna realize and understand that you was the side dude the entire time. You understand? I promise you, if you devoted that time and energy to what you was doing on the side, to this woman that you was actually with, you would get that side woman in her. You would. You would, unless there's some emotional or psycho-spiritual defect in her, you would get that. You would get whatever you were looking for if you was devoted in that kind of way. You was devoted to your family in this kind of way. If you was taking them trips and buying them bags, all this other stuff that you're talking about to this one woman, if she's the center of your world, she will make you the center of her world. I promise. I promise. And if she saw that need for you to have another woman, she would come home with that other woman. She'll come home with her. You don't even understand your power in regards to what you're supposed to be doing. Like if you utilize all that time to actually be in a position in a role that you claim that you beating your chest about and actually did it, it would be completely different circumstances. But many of us have that defect. We got the defect, like you were speaking about, the sneak thing. You ain't sneaking. You ain't sneaking. You're being a coward. You understand? Like you're being a coward and you're being a home wrecker. And then when your home is wrecked, you like, oh, it ain't on me. It ain't on me. Yeah, it is. It's all on you. All in how you choose to do. So if you are mindful and recognize that once you start lies and deception, then you got to deal with that. You got to deal with that. You got to deal with that on your own. You got to deal with whatever the consequences that come along with that. Once you make that decision, you understand what I'm saying? Like I said, black women ain't no dumping ground, and they're definitely not nothing to be played with. You understand what I'm saying? Because every black woman has somebody in their life that love them, and if they find out that you're mistreating them, somebody gonna come and see you. I hope it's worth it for you to be playing and having your cake and eating it too. You ain't having your cake and you're not eating it too. So just a word of caution in regards to real life instances and circumstances where somebody may come to see you on behalf of just maltreatment. On either way. Either way. So ain't nothing like getting your head knocked off behind this side woman or this wife that you claim to have. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody might come see you based off of that. Or neither one of them have any loyalty to you either, because you don't have no loyalty to either one of them. So somebody can set you up either way. Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You choose. Because you're playing a dangerous game.
And I would say for black women as well, if you are in a committed relationship and this man thinks that you're committed, you are putting your life in danger, your family's life in danger, and his life in, and both now their lives in danger. Because when he finds out, you have no control how he's going to react to that. But you knew what you were doing when you entered into this. Both parties are accountable. A lot of these situations are not gendered, they're not gender specific. There is an action and a reaction and a consequence to every decision that we make and every interaction that we have. And if you are playing two men against each other, that right there could end lives. Where, if a man cheats, and you might at worst have to fight the girl. Maybe. Not saying that it can't get worse, but for the most part, there's going to be some verbal exchange, maybe a physical one, whatever. But when it comes to men, they're going to go a lot farther when it comes to the physical part of that, especially if they know the person or if this person is close to them, or if he comes home and sees that. That is a felony moment. That's not something to play with. And again, you have to be honest. If you don't want that person, don't use them. Because the thing is, you're going to use that person that you want and be with somebody that doesn't have what that person has that you really want. You're with this person for a totally different reason that really doesn't bring you any value, but you hold on to this one because of the value that this person has to your want, not your need, and not to compliment you. And on both sides, that's a very dangerous thing. And I want to say to men, the reason why you don't get away with cheating, and I'm going to tell you why women get away with it and men don't. Men do not know how to stay consistent in their home. They do not know how to continue to treat that woman the same. At the moment that his attention gets diverted, he's like a kid with ADHD. Everything is all whacked off. So now your wife at home, she gets yelled at, she gets the aggression. The food ain't hot enough, the eggs ain't hard enough. Everything, just nothing that she does is enough. Everything is wrong with her. And you need to understand that you're doing that because that's feeding your guilt. You're trying to find a rationalization for what you're doing. So you demonize that woman that you're actually with so that you can feel vindicated and better about what you're doing. And then you go over here and you bend over backwards for this one that doesn't do anything for you. That's a horrible way to be. The reason why women get away with cheating is because she gonna treat you the same or better. Because she don't want you to recognize what's going on over here. She's thought hers out. She's planned. She's protected. She's made safeguards. She got her backup people for phone calls. She got her alibis. She got all these things lined up and in place so that you don't get hurt by what she's doing. It doesn't make her right by any, it's not right. But her care for the way she's going to step out on you is totally different than the ignorance that you display when you step out on her. And women, the same way that you don't want any woman, you don't want your man making any woman feel the way he makes you feel. That goes both ways. He don't want no man having access to his woman. And you freely giving that access is just as crazy as him freely giving his access away. Like it ain't there is no one is better than the other. Because I'm not going for the, oh, it's okay if he does it because no. Reality is, and even if that was the case at a time, it's not today. Women are just as cold as men today. A woman will roll over and look at you, be like, all right, you good, your Uber outside. You need a cup of water to go. Like the emotions of women have changed once they stepped out of nurturer to provider. They don't have as many emotional needs as they used to when they were just nurturer. They're not just sitting home twiddling their thumbs. They're going to work. They're in clubs. They're going on vacations. They got things to do too. and they're able to have their needs met and step away from you. They're not stuck in time as much as they used to be before. So understand that women have evolved. I know you don't like it. I know you don't like that modern woman, that educated woman, that professional woman, that woman that used to be able to just do certain things too, and she just gonna take it just because she was happy to have a man. Those women are long gone and are not coming back. You have got to come with a value. You have got to come with something that makes her feel like you deserve a spot where she is, because she's maintaining her spot now. And it looked great to look back at the relationships before. She was in the house, she was cooking, she was cleaning. That was great, but grandpa could afford for grandma to stay home. Can you afford for your woman to stay home? Can she be in that role? Can you place her in that role? Or are you punching another man's clock and she's punching another man's clock? And now you both have equal responsibility within that home. You have equal financial responsibilities within that home. She can't be what you want because you're not who you need to be for her to be that. Or are you willing to let her go make the money and you stay home with the kids and you do all those things? But you'll find that to be emasculating because that's not what men do. And you'll talk about a man that actually does that. But it makes sense for the family. And if we're a unit, what makes sense should be actually the priority.
Bars. Where the bomb at? Hold on. Yes.
Now the next one I have is, what are women's thoughts on if he is good to them? This is a difficult question because we don't all want the same thing. So
Right.
it's gonna be more of who you're with and what she desires in a relationship from you. Um, in a general sense, I will say a woman, number one, men, please hear me out. And keyword, hear me out when I say the number one thing a woman wants you to do is the number one thing you don't want to do. And that is listen. She wants you to hear her. Men have a tendency to think that when a woman is expressing herself, that's nagging. So you have to realize when you do that, you're instantly telling a human being that they are unworthy of being heard and
Mm,
unworthy of being seen. That only your voice needs to echo through these walls and that you don't really have a place here. You have automatically dismissed her as a partner in that relationship the moment that you decide not to listen to her. The best apology is change behavior. If that
mm,
woman is consistently telling you, I do not like when you do this, this is how it makes me feel when you do this, please can you stop doing this? And you say, I'm gonna stop, I'm gonna chill, and you do it again, that is showing a disrespect to where you just don't care about how I feel. And you feel like you don't have to be in tune with the woman's feelings. Then why are you there? Like, what is her purpose? Is it just to be a warm watering hole for you when you feel like it that can cook? Like, is it a roommate with benefits? Because if you're not in tune with that person, where are you building and where are you growing? How are you having children? How are you raising these children if the person that actually helped you bring those children here is not included in the household? They're just present, but they're not engaged. You you need to listen, and listen with the intent to understand, not just respond. Don't listen for things and catch one thing and then jump off the bridge and drag it somewhere totally different where we just were. We were on this street and now we in a different state. Don't do that. And that is something that, again, is not a gender thing. That is a woman thing. But when it comes to men, listening to your woman will tell you everything that you need to know, because she gonna tell you, because we're gonna talk about it. A woman gonna tell you,
mhm.
I don't like that. I don't like that you said that. I don't like how you said that. And if what she's asking you is not changing your character and changing that behavior that you're doing does not is not a negative, why is it so hard to look at? Take a look at that. you know what? I do be calling her my bitch. She don't like I
Mm.
call her a bitch, but that's my bitch. But she don't like that. What harm is it in you not calling her your bitch anymore? That's a simple request. It's not an absurd request. Don't address me like that. I don't like that. I don't like the way that feels. It's not how I look at myself. And I don't want to feel like you look at me like your bitch. I'm not your bitch. And then that ends up being a whole argument. Now you're trying to control you, and I'm trying to control you, and I want to change you. And no, simple request. Listen, if she tells you, when I'm on my cycle, I need some time. Give me a little bit of space. Go get her chips, her Pepsi, her chocolate, her Twizzlers, her Doritos, whatever her fix is. Soothe her in that moment. Meet her there. If she tells you, please stop putting your socks in the corner. Please stop throwing your clothes. Don't leave them in the bathroom on the floor. I, that I like to keep my place a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we arguing about that? If she's the type of person that likes to pay her bills ahead of time, and when she gets a lump sum of money, she likes to pay things up, and she likes to pay things ahead of time. But you're the type of person that likes to pay it after the due date, like the bare minimum, and you're always
Mm-hmm.
hanging on a thread that way. And she says, we got to come together. We got to fix this. We can't pay our bills like that. We have things that we want to buy a house later. We want to buy a car. The kids got to go to college. We have to invest. And your habits are not the best. Why are we arguing about that? That's not control. That makes sense. And flip that to women as well. If he is better with the finances, you shouldn't be paying the bills. If she is better with the finances, you shouldn't be paying the bills. We all come into this with amazing skill sets, things that we are great at and things that we need help in. And if we're together and we're trusting this partner that we're with, why are we not taking on the roles that we're good at? Because you think that you're great at it doesn't prove it by your rental history, by your credit score. Proves that you're not better at that than I am. If I don't get my oil changed, I need to let you handle that. Because why am I driving around 20,000 miles over an oil change?
Right.
And I need to be okay with you saying, you got to do better with that. If you're not going to do it, let me know. I'll get it done. But you got to have that done. And it should be okay for me to say, you know what? You gotta pick your stuff up. All right, we're gonna do laundry on Thursdays. I just want everything in the basket. I got a lot going on. I don't want to have to run around the house picking up your stuff. Just put it in the basket. Like a lot of things that are arguments should not be arguments. They really could just be conversations. If you're going through something and I tell you, you ain't showered in a week, don't blow up. Respond. And after 24 hours, if you're a hygienic person and you haven't done that, red flag should go up. Little light should go up. 2 days, hold on. You good? What's going on? You're not keeping up on yourself. Is everything okay? Are you stressed? Are you worried? Are you hurting? Conversations need to be had. We live together. We should be able to see changes in each other. But also at the same time, if we're just having a moment and I want to go for a walk, or I just don't want to talk as much today, and you ask me if I'm okay, and I say yes, let that be that. Don't stand here and turn this into an argument. Because if I'm already being quiet, I don't want to hear your noise.
Mm.
And that's not a gendered thing. That is a general thing. Like we have to allow people to be individuals that are with us. We have to allow them to still maintain their identity while they're still with us, but without trying to control that. Controlling that doesn't cause peace. That causes chaos. We can have harmony and still be individuals. But we have to have communication and unity to create that community in a home that's going to bring peace and create that demonstration for other people to see. We have to be okay disagreeing and disagree. I don't have to think what you think. You don't got to think what I think. That's okay. We're just going to move. We're just not going to go there. We know that. We already know where we stand with that. We're going to handle it accordingly. As far as the roles and rules are concerned, if the trash needs to be taken out, you not there, I'm taking the trash out. If you're busy, I'm taking the trash out. If dinner needs to be cooked and I'm doing something, you can make the dinner. It doesn't have to be stuck to you have to do this. Creating that rigidity in a relationship is going to cause nothing but conflict. Flow. We're both hungry. Why do I have to be the one to always decide what we're going to eat? Let's just go figure it out. You're hungry. You can go make you something I'm not right now. I'm not going to stop what I'm doing to make you something to eat. You're an adult. Just because we're in a relationship doesn't mean that I am fully responsible for 100% of your care. I'm willing to participate in that, but I'm not willing to be 100% liable for your existence when I'm 100% liable for mine and other people's as well. So we need to
Right.
be mindful of not trying to create identities for people, but identifying with the people that actually present themselves to us.
I ain't got nothing to say. I'm gonna leave that. Let me see if I got another. I got another question over here. Why do so many black women go for the bad boy type?
Black women go for the bad boy type because it feels like protection.
Mm,
And that is for a black woman that likes a bad boy, does not understand what protection looks like. They find it in strength and they find it in bravado. They find it in ego. They find it in a man and a man's aggression, not in his love and tenderness. And that is a very immature standpoint. Every woman doesn't go for the bad guy because you can have on a suit and Tim's. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's bad, but it's a strength that she's looking for. And if you are a certain type of male, she may not be attracted to that because she feels like there's a little weakness in you. She feels like if we're going down the street and we're getting mugged, I'm gonna have to help you fight,
mm,
or you're gonna run and leave me standing there, or tell me to call the cops, and you're not gonna handle the situation. So the bad,
mm,
and also the bad guy is exciting. The
mm,
bad guy, he's gonna want to do spontaneous things. You're boring. You just want to
mm,
do the same thing every day. You don't want to go out. You don't want to do nothing. Things like that. It's the same as, why does a guy go for the hoe? Why does he cheat with? Why does he marry the good girl but cheat with the hoe? It's a desire. It's the intrigue. It's the chase. It's the unknown. Those are the things that you're attracted to. So to balance that, you find somebody that has the major qualities that you want, but still has that spontaneity. You find somebody that is willing to take some risks and do some things. You find a balance in it. But certain personalities just aren't going to mix. And honestly, for a woman that likes a bad guy, she's not going to match with a nerd.
mm,
She's not going to match with someone that may be super intellectual and very serious. That's going to be a crazy dynamic because he's going to think she's nuts, because she's going to want to do all these grand things that he doesn't find logical or practical, because that's not how his mind is wired. So she's going to go there and she's going to bump her head a few times, and then she'll realize maybe this ain't so great, until she realizes what that looks like. And when she realizes that what she's looking for is more on the protection side and she understands protection more so than stimulation, then she will change the type of guy that she looks for. A lot of guys say, "Oh no, she done bumped her head a few times and she worn out over there." Nah, it really is a matter of realization. I thought that's what. No, I had that wrong. It's really more of a protection type thing. I just want to feel safe with this man, and that safe can come in many different aspects. And a lot of intellectual men are not heavily connected unless there's a spiritual aspect to it. So they're more concerned about the tangible and the item, or one, they have tunnel vision. So emotionally connecting is a little different, a little difficult. I have other reasons for thinking that, but I'm not going to go there. But for the exciting guy, he's also not, he's feeding a stimulation need. And once she no longer needs that stimulation, she's going to start looking for things that are more for more towards the practical and ideal reasons, and then she's going to choose a different type of person. The same with the men. You're going to realize you keep dumping over here, you keep taking losses. You're going to realize that, yeah, that's not really what I wanted. I can get this over here. I just got to bring this out of what I got instead of having to go outside of it.
Everything's good until it ain't.
What was that?
What's that? Everything's good until it ain't.
Everything is amazing until it's not. And the grass is green while you're on that side. And then the water stops coming in and it starts turning brown. And you look
Yeah.
back and you realize your grass was green the whole time and stayed green.
Right. Grass is green when you water it. That's what they said. So if this became something of an attraction, why is it an attraction? Like you gave an explanation, like you explained it, right? It's exciting. So what about it is exciting versus what about it from this other person that's not exciting? Because these things are interpretive in you. So this is based off of your point of view. And in y'all's discussion before y'all actually get together, you see what his interest is and what excites him. You decide whether or not those things that he finds exciting are exciting to you, and vice versa. If he's not doing a query to say, okay, what are these things? You said exciting. It sounds kind of vague to me, right? If he's supposed to be an intellectual, could you explain it to me further? Like, what are some of the things you find exciting? And in that process, he has to understand if he's with you, he might be willing to compromise. He might be willing to if he's intellectual, right? If he's a Neanderthal, he can't become smart. You understand what I'm saying? So if he got mayonnaise in his head and raisins in his potato salad, he good with that. You understand what I'm saying? So those things might be exciting to him. But in this aspect of I want to be with somebody that makes me feel protected, he can learn how to rise to that occasion. You understand what I'm saying? Unless he's just a coward, super coward, ain't nothing you could do with that. But if you back a coward against the wall, you might have hell on your hands. You understand what I'm saying? And then you might wake up something in him that's that. Now, once that's awake and it's exciting for a moment, you can't live like that for a lifetime. Fight or flight is not it's designed for those moments. It's not designed for a lifetime. There are long-term effects that are associated with it. So you ask for Rambo. Rambo lived like that. He don't he don't have no off switch. He's Rambo. You understand what I'm saying? So these other aspects are part of development. You can develop into a thing, right? You can develop into a space where this is what this is, and it's purposeful. And if it works for the benefit of you, then understand that. So if protection looks like this and it's a mugging situation like you examine, if she's used to doing stuff on her own, she gonna be in the dude's face trying to you understand what I'm saying? You ain't even gonna let him intervene. Then you gonna be like, you just stood there and blah blah blah. Like, are you okay with moving yourself to the side and allowing this man to deal with this threat? You understand what I'm saying? Or whatever this circumstance is, or whatever this challenge is. So if you want to feel protected, look at what that protection is and recognize it when they show up and then assist in the way that you're supposed to assist. But if you want to be the primary, you can be primarily like by yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Like you can just do you don't have to worry about conforming or changing or submitting or any of that. You can deal with that on your own. But if there's somebody who's looking to intervene in your life in the way that you're saying that you're asking for, then be prepared when that comes, right? Be prepared when that comes. When this woman or this man comes to you that you've been asking for, praying for, healing for, whatever the case may be, and they show up, then see how this is to be integrated in your life and in your circumference. Otherwise, you could be good by yourself. I ain't gonna say you could be bad by yourself. I can pray that you be good by yourself.
Well, that's why I said it depends on when that where you are in that definition of what that
Yeah.
looks like,
Yeah.
and at what point that interpretation changes. because again, you
Mhm.
can bring that out of somebody. And most of the times too, when a person goes for someone that is just a YN, just a straight out there wild, there are that person is going to take you through there, do things that you want to experience, and you may not be able to say that, but it's going to look better saying that I did it with him,
Mhm.
or he took me to do that. I did that with him. You're
Mhm.
attaching yourself to what you really want to be, in essence, at some points, or what you and it could be environmental. If all your uncles is YNs, that's normal to you. That is absolutely normal. If that's your environment and you don't have access to see other dynamics of men, that's your majority, that's what you're going to go for. Children learn what they live, and we're just grown children. And a lot of things that we learn in childhood are going to carry into our adulthood. Yes, as adults, we're expected to make better decisions. But if what you have to choose from is not better than any decision that you can make, you're going to pick the best decision, but it's going to be the best of the worst because it's not a high contender. So you're going to go with what's familiar. If you're not used to a guy that's not just willing to risk it all for nothing, when you find a man that doesn't, he's going to look weak to you because you found your uncles to be strong. Your daddy was strong. Even your grandpa was strong. Shit, your mama was strong. So when you see something different, that's a very foreign concept to you. And it's the same thing with men too. You don't want the quiet, reserved girl, because that's not what you cheat with. Men will say all day, don't wear the hair, don't wear the makeup, don't wear the nails, and don't wear all these different things. But you'll get with that woman, maybe. But then you will go cheat with something totally different. And that makes a lot of women think that that's what you desire, not understanding that what I keep and what I do here is two different things. You say you would never wife her, but she gets a lot of the wife benefits. She gets a lot of the wife things without the responsibility. So it's almost like you're punishing her for not being that because you're more willing to pay and put into that than you are this. So it's confusing for women to understand how to show up. But the question, I'm gonna take it back, was what does it look like for a man to be good to you? And it would be listening, it would be understanding, having conversation, not excluding and not coming with that everything is me man you woman. If she feels seen and heard and respected and valued, then you're going to get a
Mhm.
lot out of your woman. And that does not mean you got to be her lapdog. It does not mean that you got to praise everything that she does, but some appreciation goes a long way.
Mhm.
Now, the next one I have is, what self sabotaging behaviors have you noticed in the past that you could have done better? Well, first, I will say, if I notice it in the past, I've done it better. I will say revenge.
Mhm.
I will get you. I will make you a project in the past. I'm Whatever you do to me, I'm gonna find out what hurts you and bothers you, and I'm gonna get you back tenfold. And I'm not gonna care about how any of that reflected back on me. That was the past. It didn't matter. And I didn't even need anybody else to know I did it. I just needed you to know it. And as long as you knew it, I was satisfied because I got you back. I felt like I was karma herself because I'm gonna get you. Don't come over here playing because I'm gonna get you back. This is not a playground. So I have learned that that is a defense mechanism, and that is a lack of maturity in holding accountability for my part and how I showed up in whatever situation that would cause me to want to do that. Because there's more power in me just I knowing my value of who I am today, I can clearly walk away from you and leave you in love right where you stand. And this is in any relationship, in any capacity, because I know the value that I come with as a friend, a woman, in any capacity. It's going to hurt you more for me to remove me from your life than anything that I can do to you. But that comes with finding value. When you value yourself, when you know what you come with, you know what that's going to do. So I don't put myself in those situations to have to seek revenge. I'm going to let you have that. It won't happen again. But I know that you're going to feel my absence more than I'm going to feel yours. I'm going to feel your absence more than I feel your presence. You're going to feel my absence more than I feel your presence because I can detach very easily, and that comes from value. I don't need that in my life. I'm not dealing with that. And there's no negotiations. There's no can we talk about it? No, you did that. That's who you are. I don't you don't have to tell me twice who you are. Your actions are going to show me. Now there are some people that still have some levels of value where I will keep you, but I will distance you. I'll keep you out of love, and because of whatever situation, whatever, I feel like you still got some value. But you're gonna be at bay. You're gonna be arm's length. I'm not. You're not gonna have the same access you used to have to me because you don't deserve that. Because you've broken something in that access. Um, Another self sabotaging thing. Let me see. Hmm. I would say I think that's my biggest one. I'm gonna stand on that. Was revenge, getting back. I just could not let it go. I'm not gonna let it go. You're not gonna have the last nothing. I will reign supreme in the get back. But now I don't care anymore. I think that's the thing with me too. I don't care. It's not a competition. It's not a I it's like I you chose this. You had your options, you chose this.
I gotta care in order to want to do something. And 11 times out of 10, I don't care. Right. So the self sabotaging thing for me is how long that care factor and meter was extended. Like I stayed too long and paid too much. I stayed too long and I paid too much. So considering me and my well being and those who protect me, I leave. I leave because I don't want those who walk with me to have to look at you in any other way than how I saw you. So I keep it in that space. And I learned from combat that God can do way more correcting things than I could ever do. And those kinds of situations, they come back to visit you. If they still in the physical form, because a lot of them or somebody close to them bite their bullet. So when they come back and it's a little different. It's a little different. Matter of fact, it's a lot different. And I'm not interested. If I left, I left. I can't even see you anymore. Like you don't exist. So there, that's a aspect that I had to get over. And as you ascend in life, spirit, a lot of these things that were readily available, they aren't. So the things that used to move you, they don't move you anymore. You're moved by other things, by other aspects of yourself that you learn, and you're no longer sabotaging yourself. You're no longer in your own way. So now you're looking for the increase in the abundance and someone who won't be a hindrance to you because they can't exist in your space. That's a whole nother thing. I don't have enemies anymore. I used to. I used to have them, right? You know, the people they go look on social media for who had something to hate on them about and blah blah blah. I don't I don't even wake up with that spirit. I never have it in the first place. I was always looking for black people to celebrate, and that's who was attracted to me. So when I think about in regards to the preservation of the righteous self, right, there are aspects within myself that could no longer exist. You know, they said in one of those adages, disease can't live in the alkaline body. So I have an alkaline spirit. So the dis-ease and the key systems of the body, they have to be rectified in order for them to exist. So if this is going on internally, nothing externally can do me any harm in that regard. I have to give it a space within me in order to exist. That's back to the care. I have to care, and I don't. You understand what I'm saying? It's like I don't. So I don't have the thing that comes along with it. And I once did. I had it for a long time. So the people that are in your life that have access on in that regard, based off of how you care or who you care about or you care about their feelings or all those things. These are all things that come to you. But once I don't care, it's like I never cared. So you might hear somebody say, "It's like you never cared about me." And I say, if I say I don't, that's it. Or if I don't say anything, that's it. That's it. That means that you exhausted every last of the last possible thing that you could ever have with me, and I won't care. So me and all 64 of my personalities, right? We'd be like, no, 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 no. We all say no in unison and separate. So now it doesn't work like that. And then I'm thankful for that experience. That was another thing. I converted that thing. Like I was thankful for that experience because it gave me another spirit of discernment, another indicator. So when I go into my meditations, I go into my prayers, I, I ask that these things are no longer of worth their value or no longer a lesson that I need to learn. Thankful for the lesson. Now it's a blessing. All right. Now we can get to those things that are righteously.
Yeah, my don't care is abrupt. It is abrupt, very abrupt. Because I don't have the energy. No, I do have the energy. I choose not to spend it on you anymore. You don't
Right.
get to get that anymore. So yeah, I don't want to harm people anymore. I didn't mind harming you before. I will harm you with and sleep very well at night. I don't want to harm people. I don't want to hurt people. I don't want anyone walking away from an interaction with me feeling attacked. I want you to feel like it was a real, genuine interaction. And in some aspects, it was kind. But that was not always a thing. I didn't care how you felt. Now I care more about how I feel than how you feel. But in a different aspect, I just don't want to harm you. And sometimes I remove myself to not do that. I have to back up because I'm going to say something that I know is going to cut you to the gut. And I don't even want to see that happen to you. So I'm gonna bow out gracefully and let you have that just to keep the peace. But I'm still not gonna mess with you. And there's no coming back from that. Once I have abruptly or however gradually cut you off, there is no getting back. And even if I push you away, you'll never get back into the circle as far as you were before. Because I won't give you the opportunity to do it twice. I forgive you, but I ain't forgot nothing. I'm a trusting Allah but tie my camel. The next one I have is how well have you and other women in your community successfully reciprocated the social skills you desire and asked others to demonstrate? What help did you get to become more aware of areas to develop? I do not have a big circle, and my circle has semicircles. That there's the main circle, and then there's a circle that kind of a little bit of that circle goes in, and that's a little bit more on the outside. And there's like perimeters of the circle. There's full circle and then there's semicircles.
Mm,
In my full circle, I let me make sure I get this correct because he wanted to know. Okay, all our interactions are reciprocated socially. My girls are 100% all in. That's it. Lamecca Butler, Nakia Tillman, Sonia Lawson, those are my sisters from another mother. Our interaction is 100% reciprocated. Any of us can call on any of us and we're there. We're going to show up for you however you need. No questions asked. We're going to understand. We're going to keep it real. We're going to straighten crowns. We're going to snatch them and replace them if we have to. That interaction that we want, each of us extends that externally into our own communities outside of each other. Our demonstrations of womanhood are very intertwined, but we are big proponents of women. We are girls, girls all day, in and out, girls, girls. We love men as well, though. Each of us loves and uplifts men. So it's not a matter of, we don't deal with people on a mass scale outside of where we kind of have to, that don't interact like us. That's just not a thing. We are very good at keeping our space, but as far as interaction is concerned, you know, we are community, and we each are our own community, and we give that demonstration of womanhood and sisterhood. We're tight, and we've gone from being 300, over 360 women, where we had a women's circle, and it trickled down to just where we are, you know. So and Shatira Hines, forgot her as well. um and we will have ebbs and flows, and we don't speak. We go through things, we might stop talking, not that we're stop talking to each other. We will say we're finding ourselves right now, we're taking a sabbatical, we're,
Mhm.
you know, and we're not going to exchange and engage with each other in a capacity to where we're not healthy, and we know how to pull back, and we know how to understand that, and it's okay. It's absolutely okay for us to do that. And I will add in my daughter as well. My daughter Davion is like, that's my dog. That's my best friend. And she as well has her own community. And she is very secluded in her community. She has an island of a community. She don't play in no parts. Everything is about her family, but she demonstrates family. She takes her kids fishing. She teaches them. She homeschools them. Like, she does all the things that she desires, and she only surrounds herself with people that are like-minded like her. And it's not that we can't interact with people that are not. We will feed and pour into and learn from and teach those that are outside of that community. But in our personal space, if it's not bringing us peace, we're not doing it. We have more years behind us than ahead of us, and we're not going to waste them on your chaos. We may hear you, but we're not absorbing that. We're going to leave that with you, and we're going to leave it all on your plate, and you're going to go home with that, and we're going to go home and live our normal quiet lives in our homes where we like our peace. So when it comes to reciprocity, that's a personal thing, because if you're not giving it, I ain't taking it. I ain't giving it to you, and I ain't taking it from you if it's not reciprocal. And I deserve that. That's not something that is negotiable. I am worthy of that because I know what I give. And you don't even have to reciprocate all that I give, because I know that I give and I come with a lot. You don't have to give it all back. Just give it back when it matters. Just when I need you. Check in. You know, stay in tune and care from a genuine place, not from a place to see if you can get your need met by showing up for me. Just if it's genuine, that's all I need from you. As far, where did I become more aware of areas to develop? I'm not sure if you're asking me if I went somewhere, like how did I fix it, or where, what help did you get to become more aware of areas to develop? I don't know. I'm going to answer this the best way I can. Experience. It got to, I was not always a great person.
Mhm.
I'm not proud of that. It's not a flex, but I wasn't. And I got tired of not being that. When I got to a place where I felt like I could be better, I went and I found out how to be better. Reading books was the first place. Also, honestly, my daughter and Nakia, like, those are two people that are going to let me know you ain't right. That was wrong. Don't do that. Or you could be doing better. Why are you not doing this? You know, it's a matter of, that's where love comes in. That's true love, when you can say you're wrong. Why'd you do that? What's the reason? That's coming from a place of love, because you expect better, and you see what I don't see in myself at that moment, and you're pulling me back, you're holding me accountable. So those are things, when you can have those conversations, is when you're in a better place. So, and I'm gonna put more on Nakia, because she has been there my entire life. She's been there before my kids. So she has watched me grow, and she has been an integral part in my development through her demonstration and through support and through her correction and through her excitement, acknowledgement, and encouragement. So I've been lucky and I've been extremely blessed to have a real friend. I have a friend from the past before Aisha. She passed away. I had two real friends. Like, I've had some really solid women that have been in my life for a very long time, that have been consistent all along the way. So, sometimes I didn't see it within myself, but when I did, I had people to confer to. But I also read a lot. I still read a lot. And I write and I think and I look at scenarios, and I always look at how can I show up better? What could I have done better in that situation? And especially with interaction with other people, because I choose who I let have access to me. So if I'm accessing something that is unhealthy, what do I need to fix within me that I find that attractive? Why am I pulling towards that? Why am I sitting here in this and it does not feel good? Then that means I got to go back inside myself and start to identify and filter. Where is this coming from? What's the root? Did it start in childhood? Where? I have to place it. And when I can find that, I can heal that space. And now you're dead. We're done. Because I hate to say it, I got what I needed from you. That lesson is learned, and I can move on now. You can keep that. Thank you for that. But I'm not interacting with that anymore. And I don't feel obligated to fix you. I don't feel like because I've got to my space. Now, if you come to me for help, yeah, I'll help you with resources and how to's, but I'm not going to invest in your healing. I got way too much to invest in mine. So when it comes to me developing into a better person, it innately came from a desire to be better and to understand that better is a constant thing. There is no peak of better, there's no pinnacle. So it's a constant balance for me to always find the best version of myself in every moment. And I can come back and say, you know what? I shouldn't have said that, or I shouldn't have did that. I don't have a hard time doing that. That's not a problem for me. And I will self-correct. It doesn't mean that I still can't take correction either, because I will take correction if it's correct. Now, if it's bullshit, it's bullshit. I'm not taking that. That's a you thing. But I can differentiate the difference. But again, it just comes from the desire of wanting to be better and constantly. And I battle myself every single day. I want to say and do things that I know I should not want to say and do. And I don't, for the most part. I don't react the way that I want to react. I don't want to, knock somebody's head off their shoulders like I may want to. But the frustration from that and the thought of wanting to do that still comes from a place. What about that made me feel that strongly about that? And then I got to go correct that. And then it just gets easier over time. The older I get, the easier it's starting to get, because I'm constantly in that process of where find the why, find out where it started, fix that. And then now those same interactions become a lot easier later.
Mhm.
This is an interesting question. Give me a moment.
Yeah, that was an interesting question. It sounded like it was smart and not smart at the same time. But I was like, you ambiguous about the question, then you can't be mad about the answer.
Yeah. The next one I have is, what was a really rewarding interaction you had at work? And what was your most challenging interaction?
Hmm?
I
I
okay.
heard you. So I just said, huh?
Yeah,
Like, huh?
no, I'm trying to process the question. Okay. The most rewarding interaction I will say at a job is at my current job, because I have the most amazing supervisor you could ever have. She gets it, she gets people, and she's always going for the better of the great the greater good. Always for the better. She doesn't micromanage, she lets me be me, she understands my personality, and we just have a very good flow. My entire team, there's four of us. Yeah, there's four of us. We really work well together. We are here for the people. We are family support providers, and we make changes and differences in lives every day. So that is the most rewarding interaction we have, is my team, the organization I work for, and the people that we actually serve. It's a full circle experience. I chose the company I work for based upon how they treat their patients. So that was a big deal for me. I like them that much. Like, I want to work for them. And it's an amazing space to be in. And then to enter supervision and a team that we all are on the same page and it just always works. That's a beautiful experience. The worst interaction I've ever had, and I ain't gonna say her name. If she hears it, she hears it. Was working for a black woman.
Huh?
And I wholeheartedly believe that she has some mental stuff going on, because the way that she ran it was almost like running a group home. And it was a very important role that she had. It was a very important thing that the organization did. But the lack of human interaction that she displayed in her role was mind boggling. And it could have been so much greater and so much better if her insecurities and her lack of seeing anyone else but herself, and lack of wanting anyone else but herself to benefit, including the people that we serve, it could be an amazing organization that could scale much bigger than where it is. But the reason why it stays where it is and why it's failed where it's failed is because it had failing leadership. And it was disappointing because I worked for them because they were a black organization. And that was the worst decision I ever made.
It sounds like an interview question, like a job interview question. And if that's the direction, then I understand it. Like I understand, to see what those kinds of things are, because you can pick out and determine different character aspects, whether they're positive or negative. They'll show themselves to be true. But if you didn't get any additional context, I don't, you know, sound like a job interview question. And if that's a qualification, we were talking about qualifications in the previous show. If that's something that you're looking for in regards to that, then it should be some care taken to that. Like, what are your desired qualifications? What are your expected qualifications? Like, what does that whole thing look like in regards to having access to you? Are they realistic expectations? You know, to have somebody apply, whatever the case may be, or they're unrealistic, whatever the case, however those things are they clearly articulated? Are they clearly discussed? Are you open to questions? Are you open to negotiation in some of those aspects? Whatever they are, then I can understand. So,
Well, I owned the company, and when I had my company, and I say this with full confidence, any of the women that work for me will tell you I treated them amazing and I paid them amazing. And it wasn't a hierarchy, we're a team. It may be my company, but you guys are part of the operations. It would not work if you didn't walk through the doors. So never did I monopolize any ideas, any thoughts, anything that had to do with the betterment of what we were doing. And I've had girls that got out of bad situations, got apartments, got cars, went to college, doctors, nurses. Like, we were a team. We worked together. We made it work. If you had finals, just talk to such such, see if she'll cover you for that shift. You guys can swap shifts. Everybody still makes their money and everybody gets their needs met. We worked as a family. We worked as literally together. So I know what it's like to be a in a position of power and share that power, even in spaces where people didn't feel like they should have that. Nah, we're in this together, and it created a much better environment than a corporate mindset where I got this power and I got to keep you guys here because you can't come up here. You might, if you do too much, you might come up here. I can't have that. No, go there so I can go here. But if this is your ceiling where you're at, you're going to be afraid for anybody else to come up, and that's not a good thing. But that's why it didn't work. The next question I have is, how do you want, okay, what's your idea of strength that you need from a black man? And how do you
Mm.
want that to show up for you in spaces? And I'm going to attach that with, what does protection look for? What does protection look like for black women? Okay, here's what I don't want. I do not want black men jumping up for everything that has to do with us. I don't. Because being accountable as women, we will put you in a pickle, and we will have you fighting for something that'll have you wanting to fight us at the end. Like, are you kidding me? A lot of times, women, we need to shut up and walk away. We need to just learn to just walk away. There's more power in walking away. We don't need for black men to be coming up, punching everybody in the face that we want to have an argument about. It's not that serious. Understand that the consequence for that action on his part is way deeper than the satisfaction we think we're going to get for having something done to somebody. That's, again, that's abuse of power. If you have the ability to call your brother, your uncle, your father, whoever, or even your man, and say, this man is disrespecting me, that man is not going to question you why. He's not going to ask what you did, nothing. He's going to show up and he's going to perform. That performance can take his freedom or his life. Two things that are valuable to you. We need to be very careful on what we have them show up for. It needs to be real. It needs to be important. It does not need to be, we said the wrong thing or somebody said that. If you don't feel in danger or in harm, shut up. And don't be the instigator and be the one running off at your mouth. Now you want to call everybody. Why you shut up? We can't punch somebody in the face, smack the shit out of somebody. We can't do physical things to people and not expect a reaction. We are taught as children, boys can't hit girls. But we don't tell girls can't hit boys. So now girls grow up thinking that that's going to extend into adulthood. That ends at about sixth grade. Because now y'all equal to about sixth grade. After sixth grade, that dynamic starts to shift, and he's a lot stronger than you. And it's unfair to think that someone's going to allow you to physically abuse them without reaction. Now, can a man control himself? Absolutely, he can. But if he's trying to leave and you're jumping in front of the door, he's asking you to get out of his way. You bop him beside his head, hit him in the head with a bottle, a vase, whatever. He's trying to leave. You're stopping that. Now, he has to do something to you to get you to stop coming at him. Now he's wrong and he's going to jail. Because when he does that, you're going to call the cops and you're going to say he hit you. You're never going to say he hit you back. And now, the most that you can say to that man after he's gone through all those proceedings through the legal system is, I'm sorry. That doesn't fix his record. It doesn't fix his time from his job, his education, his family, whatever. It doesn't fix the stigma of having an arrest on his record. All of those because you couldn't control your emotions. And at the same time, when it comes to men, before it gets to a point of where you feel like it should go that far, you leave. You know that's how she act. Get away from her. She's gonna be dangerous for you. And it's not, she's gonna create a dangerous situation that you're gonna feed into, and then you're gonna become a danger to yourself. A lot of the things that we get into, it's all a power of choice. Get out of that. But when it comes to men showing up and protecting women, protection is, if you see a fight, break it up. And I'm not even going to make this a gender thing. Period. As black people in our community, if you see something, do something. If it's not a danger to you, assess your environment. Be aware of your environment. But if you see two people doing something, try to mediate that. Don't pull out your camera. Don't. Don't pull out your camera and get a viral moment off of people that look like you, because everything that's said in those comments are a reflection of us. The reason why people think we didn't have as bad of a stigma as we did around the world until social media, until it was monopolized by systems to make us look that way. And now we are further perpetuating that by what we choose to be stimulated by and excited by, and the embarrassment of each other. So we need to really think about, like, when I was younger, if we got into a fight, there's some elders coming to break that fight up. Y'all not doing this. Y'all, what's going on? But
Hmm.
when it comes to black women, we gotta tone it down. And I'm not saying be quiet and be unseen and unheard. We gotta tone it down though, because we will definitely take things there. And then when somebody reacts to us, we want to get all bent out of shape. And that's not right. Because we're gonna look for men to come and challenge someone against defending themselves from us. But we're gonna flip that story and make it sound like something that it's not. Stop calling the police. Stop calling the police if you're not in danger. If you're having an argument, walk away from the argument. Don't call the police, because the police are not coming there to solve your argument. They're never. And the thing is, you're going to call the police and let that man back in.
Right.
And then you're going to want that man to protect you when you put him in a position where you didn't protect him. Protection is not a one-way street. It's not just black men show up to fight for black women. That's not what that is. It's black men in spaces not speaking negatively and not allowing other people to speak negatively about black women. But that protection has to be reciprocated on the other side. We ask for a lot that we don't give back.
Mm.
You're not going to dog walk a black man with me. You can express your opinion and your experience. We're not going to, some things can be generalized. That's a given. But you got to see both sides. And if you can't see both sides and you only see their side, we don't got much to talk about, because there's no learning here. And that's a dead conversation. It comes from respecting your son. If you talk to your son crazy, I can't really rock with you like that. That's not going to work for me, because he's going to grow up to be somebody's man. And
Hmm.
that's going to be a problem. And you're going to look at the problem, but not where it came from. And I dare to even say protection on black boys, because we look at R. Kelly. And
Hmm.
when I say this, I'm not absolving him of any of his actions. They were choices. We look at R. Kelly and the monster that we say that he is, and all the things that he's done to women and men. But never do we hear, or is there any prosecution for his sister, who made him have sex with his brother, who made him have sex with her and her friends, who created that demon. We talk about these things that happen to women, but we don't talk about the things that happen to boys as well. We don't talk about how his mother allowed his molester, who raped him in a field, to give her a $10,000 check to not send him to prison. You know, where was the protection at? Protection is not just about fighting for. It's not always physical. It can be environmentally, spiritually, emotionally. There's so many ways that we need to protect black men. And it doesn't mean if you see him doing a crime, you hold that. It doesn't mean hold his drugs, his guns. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is hold his sacredness, hold his godliness, protect that, hold that down. And for black men, the same thing. Hold down her respect, hold down her honor. And I'm not going to argue with you. A lot of us are not out there doing that. I'm going to own all aspects of us. I understand that. But at the end of the day, the good, the bad, and the ugly, everybody is still all ours. We got to work on that, because everybody has a why and everybody has a cause. Every action comes from somewhere. There's some type of trauma causes negative behavior. Everybody has an ACEs score. I don't care how great you think your life was, you have an ACEs score. I have not met a person yet that does not have one. And those are
Right.
adverse childhood experiences. So, with that being said, these things cause different things in different people. I went through that. I ain't like that. That's you. But you can have two people that got the same window and see two different things, and how things
Right.
affect them, and then external things that add on to their personal experience is going to make them react to that differently. And a lot of our stuff is environmental, and that environment starts in the home. So, as men, protecting us is protecting us. As women, it is the same. Protecting women and men is still protecting us. Protecting the black community as a whole should not be gendered, it should be a thing.
Ain't she dope, y'all? So you want to deal with one more question before we get up out of here, or you want to say something for part two?
I'll take all your questions.
I know you got one more on your list. On your list, at least, that you're
I
dealing with.
only had 10 questions.
Oh, that's 10. Okay. Well, I'll save mine for part two then. Okay, because I got some questions from some therapists who that they hear most commonly in sessions when they working with our people. They work exclusively with Black people, of all types. So in all types
So
of
it's men
relationships.
and women questions. It's for both.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So yes, we will save that for part two then.
Okay.
Because we did the men asking questions, we did the women asking questions. Now we can
Yeah.
talk about the communication between the two.
Yes. So that's episode 8 coming up, right?
Episode 8.
That's what it is. So I know you got some final words of wisdom and some resources you always give out that you want to share with the people before you go.
I would say to let's drop genders. And I don't mean an identity. I mean in situations. Because a lot of the disparities that we have are across the board. It's not a gender, and it doesn't even matter who does more of what than the other. We're not going to solve any problems like that because we're going to keep be fixated on, well, women do it more, will men do it more. That's not how we come to any resolution. So let's just start looking at identifying problems and solving them, not getting stuck in mud, not just going down a rabbit hole, but actually figuring out how we can make the changes to bridge our communication as Black men and Black women. That's the only thing that should be gendered is the communication. Let's fix it, but let's fix it from a community level, not micromanage it on man against woman. We're not, we're one. And we have to move like that because if we don't move like that, we're going to continue to get stomped on. We, throughout history in America, we're just going to keep it in America. We have been, we built and been stepped on. We built and been stepped on, and we build again and we get stepped on because there's always a way of division. I don't care who you want to blame for what, it doesn't matter. Blaming either side is not fixing the problem for the whole. We have to start thinking as a unit. We got to start thinking in community. If we continue to do this individualistic mindset, we will continue to stay where we are and we're going to keep getting buried further and further. At this point, in the situation that we're in right now in this country, we're in quicksand. We have got to get out of this. The genders have to drop, the blaming has to drop. Fix it. We need to just fix it. We don't have time to play anymore. This communication is so necessary for us to develop as a people so that we can have community and go back to being a nation so that we can have our own. We'll never be able to have the trust and the necessary implements that we need to be able to build together if we cannot talk to each other. If we can't have a simple conversation, and as big as our minds are, we want 40 acres and a mule, we want this, we want that. What are we going to do with it when we get it if we can't have a conversation in our own home? If we can't create peace, if we can't build right where we are, where we lay our head next to the person that we see every day, that's never going to go outside the home. We need multiple homes coming together, multiple units, smaller communities to create that greater conglomerate so that we can get to the stages that we need to get to. We can't plan, we can't develop, we can't do anything where we are right now with this one does more and this one needs to stop and we can do better outside of here. That's saying that you're not worthy. No matter how you want to frame it, for you to say you can do better outside of what you are is saying that what you are is not enough and it's not great enough. And you need to attach yourself to something greater to become great. That is ludicrous and preposterous. Are you kidding me? There is nothing greater than us. Nobody else feels anything greater than them. Why do we feel like everything else is better than us? Again, the conversation has to come back to us. This, we need to kill Black men and kill Black women, and no, stop. No, we need to reunite. We need to unite that. The separation has to stop. And we had pockets of that. And when we did unite, we had great things. We just have to build more security on our communities to make sure that that doesn't happen again. We have to be more educated to make sure that those things don't happen again. And we have the power to do it. We just don't have the tools within ourselves to be able to start to make these things happen.
I don't know about y'all, but episode 7 was fire, okay? Episode 7 was fire. All these episodes have been great. Go back in the archives, go to episode 1, all the way up. I'm telling you, it's been invigorating, it's been informative, it's been exciting, and it's been a beautiful space of accountability, all right? You understand what I'm saying? So count on Chanel for the beauty and the accountability, and count on me to just be up in here, all right? You understand what I'm saying? All right, so I'm gonna be up in here doing what I need to do. All right. And Chanel, thank you for your time. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your guidance. Thank you for your vision. And I know you end this off a certain kind of way every time. So you understand what I'm saying? Get them folks the phrase that pay. That's what they be here for.
I'm going to change it up a little bit today. And I'm just going to say, be good to you. If I keep extending it, it looks too far. Be good to you. And when you be good to you, then you'll be able to externalize that. It's going to flow naturally to be good to others. But for right now, I want everybody to just sit still and just love on yourself, feel on yourself, dig into yourself, and treat you the way that you want other people to treat you.
That's the bar. And we'll see you for episode 8. Right here on Do Non's Radio Self and Self podcast, Breaking the Silence on Mental. Go mind somebody else's business, y'all. Peace.
PM. Yeah. They know just who we are.
My energy's indestructible, ain't a substitute. I've been through the ringer once or two, ain't gon' front of you. Blood is loose, negativity, gotta cut it loose. Immortality, balance me, I become acute. Top looking down, I've been viewing from my higher roof. Dirt on my name, don't offend me cause I'm liar proof. Navigate through the viper's room, the entire route. Planted on my brain when I strike like the vipers do. Light beam, you see me here but I'm just sightseeing. Here to feel my purpose, validation I am not seeking. My secret and my superpower. If I told you had the key, you gotta shine no matter who around you. This is 528, spit through a burst. And not whatever works. This is light work from the anointed ones. Or be here forever, how the story begun.
No matter what they do, they can't break us down. We know who we are.
The called, the chosen, the few, doing exactly what we came to do, and that's true.
They can never stop us and break us down. We know who we are.
The called, the chosen, the few, doing exactly what we came to do. How about you? To my survivors, we sustaining, the ones remaining. We wrote the real book on power like we raising Canaan. This is deeper than rap music and entertainment. We raised up the frequency and now the game is changing. Back emerging with a classic, I'm merging with havoc. We never sacrificed the soul just to further the status. Middle finger to you frauds, ain't heard of you bastards. Save the combative theatrics cause you can't match us. Tried to soul snatch us, but we dead in distractions. Look at karma, now you gotta watch it from the rafters. Perfection in the flesh, God's architecture. The light inside us triggers the demons and y'all lesser. Weaker vessels can't take the pressure. You don't belong in my sector, I'm a light body manifester. This mission's embedded, they can't edit our genetics. When you hear a prophet to speak, you don't forget it.
No matter what they do, they can't break us down. We know who we are.
The called, the chosen, the few, doing exactly what we came to do, and that's true.
They can never stop us and break us down. We know who we are.
The called, the chosen, the few, doing exactly what we came to do. How about you?
No matter what they do, they can't break us down. We know who we are.
The called, the chosen, the few,
doing exactly what we came to do,
and that's true.
They can never stop us and break us down. We know who we are.
The call, the chosen a few.
Doing exactly what we came to do.
How about you?
No matter what they do.
Have it. Represent the infamous.